What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, over the last half-decade running this YouTube channel, the rise of the industry insider is something that I've tracked very carefully, and not on purpose, but only because I've worked directly with a lot of these guys, especially friends of the channel like Mikey Sutton over at Geekosity, even Charles Murphy over at Murphy's Multiverse. And amongst the rumor mill that they've managed to keep running, not only are a lot of these scoops entertaining even when wrong, but the amount that they get right is what keeps the recidivity rate so high and why we're to the place where we are now with so many industry insiders and editorials, and then a whole subgroup of Twitter scoopsters. Well, one of the newer editorials on the scene in the Cosmic Circus, run by editor-in-chief Lizzie Hill, now has a brand new podcast, and they revealed a ton of details about the rest of Marvel Phase 5 and 6, and specifically what's going on with the incursions in KANG Dynasty between the 616 and the return of the 838 that includes a certain member of the Avengers we haven't seen in quite some time, and you can sort of guess who that is. We're going to break down all the latest scoops as it pertains to the rest of the multiverse saga coming from the Cosmic Circus, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel, and that's all we do. Everything from official Easter egg breakdowns, trailers, and reviews to the occasional industry insider report and everything in between. So if that sort of thing's for you, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. That will automatically enter you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway, which the next one is less than a week away next Thursday when Ant-Man drops. So again, all you got to do to be entered, be a subscriber, leave a comment on this video, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so I'm basically going to read through this in bullet point form, touching on certain subjects, and I'm going to do the normal read through it in full, but I'll also annotate it with whatever details we may have heard from other industry insiders, starting with the first one from all of the Phase 5 projects. Only Quantumania, Loki Season 2, The Marvels, and Agatha Coven of Chaos have something to do with the multiverse. Keep in mind, we still have no confirmations about Echo or Coven of Chaos and when they're supposed to release from Marvel. There's been heavy rumors of delays, but until we get an update, both of those are still slated to come out this year. And as far as Phase 5 goes, that extends into next year. Movies like Captain America: New World Order, with all the rumors we've heard of that film, the multiverse doesn't seem like it has any room there. The next update is there is a movie between the Fantastic Four and when KANG Dynasty releases. There are a lot of gaps still left on the Phase 6 side of the slate. Also important to note that other industry insiders have implied that as a lead-in to KANG Dynasty, which Destin Daniel Cretton is directing, that they would also fast-track Shang-Chi 2 so he could direct that film as basically a lead-in. There's also been rumors that they would fast-track Doctor Strange 3 to make it in before Secret Wars. The next bullet point says the project where the multiverse truly becomes central to the broader MCU and all of its characters is Deadpool 3. Which will lead into the next Avengers movie in a similar way to the post-credit scene from Thor Ragnarok. And basically what he's implying there is one literal beat in a scene picks up seconds later. So we'll go from whatever the post-credit scene is in Deadpool 3, it will pick up next with KANG Dynasty. Deadpool will have an integral part to play in the MCU going forward, which is absolutely crazy to think, but hey, that's everything in Ryan Reynolds' wildest dreams. The next bullet point is something we've heard multiple times but have not yet talked about here at the channel. The Darkhold will be a big plot point in Agatha Coven of Chaos. According to this, a KANG variant indeed wrote the Darkhold, which Alex, one of the writers over there, claims is full of lies, because the Darkhold described Wanda as a Nexus being, a thing she is not, because she has variants. Nexus beings are singular. He assumes KANG writing lies into the Darkhold is him taking early measures against Wanda, and that's super interesting, a lot to unpack. And I'll be honest with you guys, at first I did not like the idea that KANG could be the author of the Darkhold. That is a huge drastic change from the comics and really an old and very evil part of the Marvel universe that they're sort of changing up. However, what it does do is establish the great lengths that variants of KANGs were willing to go to in order to sort of control all variables of the most powerful Avengers and superheroes that they had to conquer along the way. So it's possible that this is just another example of that. Also, a lot to unpack here about what a Nexus being truly means, and that even though you can have multiple or infinite variants in the multiverse, that only one of them would be the Nexus being. And quite honestly, this actually completely supports a theory I had in a video almost 2 years ago. I had to dig it up. That came out right after we saw Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness in the theaters, where I put forward, sort of based on the loose definition we already had for Nexus being, and knowing that the terminology in Marvel seems to change from time to time, that perhaps America Chavez is the only true Nexus being that we've actually seen, and she is singular across the multiverse. Not sure if there's enough detail to go on there, but it was a theory I had long ago. seems to be supported by this. Now, the next bullet point says that the Incursion in the upcoming Avengers film will be between 616 and 838. There's an alive, unseen Illuminati member from 838 who will have a bone to pick with the Avengers. Alex, again the writer and scoopster over at Cosmic Circus, claims to know exactly who the character is, and then says that it's Iron Man, or rather a variant of Iron Man, the 838's Iron Man, and he personally thinks that Robert Downey Jr. will play that variant. They then also talk about the Beyonder showing up as part of Secret Wars, and we've already covered in depth here at the channel a lot of rumors that point to Kang's variant also being a Beyonder and starting this whole thing in the first place. I'll try to dig up that video and link it at the end of this. The next and last point they brought up is that the Watcher is being focused on because he's the only one among the many Watchers who is willing to intervene. The next implication is that he might have something to do with the upcoming Fantastic Four film, and I would assume that would be a direct link to what we saw already in What If. Remember, What If is canon as a part of the multiverse, and I think that they made a point to introduce those characters via animation, and then at least some of them carry over into Multiverse of Madness to show us that anything that's a part of the animated universe between now and Secret Wars is on the table to be a part of live action as well, including the X-Men, which, as I mentioned just earlier this week, as we had several videos covering the X-Men, in the 2015 Jonathan Hickman Secret Wars run, the animated X-Men actually made an appearance. I wonder if they could even think about doing something like that. Of course, it might make it complicated considering we're going to have the X-Men from the Deadpool and Fox universe. Maybe don't want two Wolverines if you've already got Hugh Jackman as one of them. Guys, let me know all your thoughts down below about any and all of this, how you feel about the return of the 838 and an Iron Man variant in the Illuminati. We had heard back then that that wasn't the last we would see of the Illuminati team. I have a good feeling that they weren't just throwaways in Multiverse of Madness, and if you're wondering, well, they all died on screen, keep in mind that we saw very clearly Thanos had the Infinity Stones but was defeated before he used them, so presumably Baron Mordo, or whoever is the Sorcerer Supreme, would have had the Time Stone and can simply undo those deaths. That's why I think everybody was so low-key in the Baxter building to begin with. Guys, let me know all your thoughts down below quickly. Let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. Alright, we're still giving away a PlayStation 5, but instead of subscriber milestones this year, we're going to do it to coincide with the release of Marvel movies, at least for the first 6 months. When we go into that long gap between the Marvels and Captain America New World Order, we'll figure something else out. In the meantime, if you want to be entered to win, or for any of the other giveaways at the channel, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button because you need to be a subscriber, then leave a comment down below. Because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will always be announced live with my voice during this same segment at the end of videos with the comment shown on screen. Basically, no other way. So if you're messaged on my channel or anywhere on YouTube, remember, anybody can steal anybody else's photos. There are scammers everywhere. No YouTuber will ever ask you to contact them on a third-party app. No YouTuber, myself included, will ever ask you to pay for shipping. So if you should see those comments on my channel, any other YouTube channel, or really even on Instagram, as I've said, I started to see them there recently, just report those comments. You're doing us a huge favor, and it does get rid of them, at least temporarily. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me in a couple of places, Instagram and Twitter at I'mFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, under the name Allfires. And while I sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.